Again, if you're just joining us, use your chat button and type in where you're from, or simply just say hi. Good morning. We're about to begin. Thank you for joining us this morning for AARP's HomeFit, Your Home for Life presentation. And I'm going to turn it now over to Barb Handy Marcello on the Speakers Bureau, a volunteer with AARP North Dakota. Barb, take it away.
Thank you, Ellen, and good morning, everybody. I am Barb Handy Marcello. I am an AARP North Dakota volunteer and happy to be here today to present a great program called HomeFit, about how you can make your home safe and comfortable for everyone, for yourself and your family throughout your lifespan. I want to give a special thanks to Ellen Schaefer for being our host this morning. If you are interested in volunteering for these online events, please let us know by emailing the AARP staff at aarpnd@aarp.org. Please, if you have questions as we go along, type them into the Q&A, where we will let those questions pile up till the end, and we'll address them at the end and perhaps engage in a little conversation about some things. I want to remind you that you are being recorded, and this will be appearing on YouTube. It'll be youtube.com/AARPND channel. So you can watch this or rewatch this at any time. Now I'm going to push a few buttons to get my screen up, and then we'll get started. Okay, so HomeFit is an AARP program that's designed to help you figure out ways to make your home, the home you're living in now, safe and livable for all. Today we'll be trying to cover a few things. We'll talk about the advantages of making your home fit for everyone. Everyone, and by everyone I mean babies all the way up to very elderly people, people with disabilities, people who expect their lives to change over time. This is something we'll be talking about in the framework of universal design, a very simple concept that says every home should be accessible to everybody. Wonderful idea. We're going to take a small tour of the average home and talk about ways that you can make changes to make your home fit. If you want to know more about this, and we are just going to begin to touch the beginning issues here, there's a lot more information at aarp.org/homefit, or you can just do a search for AARP HomeFit, and you'll come up with the right page where you can find the HomeFit guide, which is a booklet like this. It's about 33 pages. Terrific pictures and lots of information. Also on that web page, you can find worksheets and links to specific spaces like bathrooms or kitchens where you might want to do some more work. So today we're going to talk about how a home can be modified to support changing needs and lifestyles at any age. Some of these modifications are simple and easy. You can do them yourself. I've done a lot of these myself. We'll mark most of those with a green star. So you look at that green star and think, oh, okay, I can run to the hardware store nearby, get what I need, and install it myself, or perhaps with the help of a neighbor. There are others that are best left to a professional. You may need to get some help for installation, and there are going to be some things that are very inexpensive and some things that are very expensive to do. But when we think about home, I think this is where we make our decision about whether we're going to stay in the home we've been in for a long time or whether we'll move to someplace else. And I think if you sat down or wrote down a few words about home, you'd probably think about happy, you think family, you think good memories. There are a lot of good reasons why we want to stay in our homes. And so there's a lot of help for helping you figure out how to stay in the home you've been in for a long time. And one of the things to consider, as I said, some of these changes are very expensive. But one of the things you need to consider is the total cost of not staying in your home. And we went to a website that is sponsored by Genworth. Genworth is a large, that's an insurance company. You can either go to genworth.com/aging-and-you, or you can simply do a search for Genworth and aging, and there you'll find statistics about what the costs of living in different areas. Genworth updates these figures routinely. The figures we have on the screen here are from February 2022, so they're very recent. So in North Dakota, if you were to get an apartment in an assisted living facility, the average cost per month is $3,391. A nursing home, of course, is much more expensive. A private room in a nursing home will average in North Dakota $12,587 a month. So these are the figures you'll need when you start thinking about, should I invest in some of these changes in my home, or should I make a move? The information is there for you to make use of. So if we look at universal design, we talk about accommodating people of all abilities and all ages. We're talking about babies. We're talking about elderly people. We're talking about people who need a little assistance getting upstairs, people who have a wheelchair. It encompasses everybody who lives in your home or who might visit your home. And that's a term we call visitability. Can your home accommodate a visitor with differing abilities from those who actually live in the house? And we'll talk a little bit about livability, changes to make your house comfortable, safe, low maintenance. Nobody wants to be out there painting the house when you're 80 years old. So we're talking about low maintenance. We're going to talk about energy efficiency. So all of these things can be incorporated into changes you might want to make to your home. We'll start looking at the outside where people approach your house. The ideal is a zero-step entrance. If you're looking for a new house, that might be something you want to put on your list. But if you're living in an existing house, you may not have any doors that are actually zero-step entrances. And you might have to make modifications to your entrance. There's many options for making changes that will be both safe and practical. One of the changes you can make are to change the stairway up to your entry door to make them accommodate walkers. The steps need to be deeper. 22 inches deep is ideal. This is the length here, where the step is. And the riser should be shorter than average, ideally about 4 inches high. This way, someone with a walker can put their walker up in the step, take the step up, and prepare to make the next step up. It not only adds to the accessibility, I think it adds to the dignity of the person arriving at your home. If you need a ramp, if you think wheelchair access is important, ramps can be either permanent or temporary. If you put in a permanent ramp, you're going to want to consult a professional. This will be one of the more expensive changes you'll make. The ideal ratio of rise for a ramp is 1 inch of elevation for 1 foot of length of the ramp. So if you want to raise it, the area by 12 inches, you need a 12-foot ramp. My front step is about 2 feet high. I would have to have a 24-foot ramp, which means that the ramp would actually have to turn a corner. You can't make a 24-foot ramp very easily. Usually they will go in one direction and then turn in the other direction. That means I would have to have a lot of space, and it would be a major construction project. So I might look at some other options. Temporary ramps are also doable, probably less expensive than a permanent ramp. And then there's this possibility. You may have a 0-step entrance, but a little bit of a rise right at the threshold. That could be a problem for tripping. It could be a little problem for a wheelchair. You can buy these very small threshold ramps that abut right up to the threshold and smooth that entryway for anyone who might need a little assistance there. If a ramp is not functional for your house, not the best choice, it is possible to buy a vertical platform lift. This is a little bitty elevator, an open elevator. You push a button. Whoever's in the little space there right over here will be lifted up to the main level with an electric motor. These are ideal for a limited space. You can put them outside by a front step. You might find they work better in the garage if you have this right kind of space there. They must be installed by a professional. And if you're having one installed in North Dakota, and I'm going to say this over and over again, be sure that this machine can take temperatures in the 30 belows and can take snow and can be exposed to wind and other weather issues. These exterior platform lifts also must have a hand crank. So if the power is off in the house and somebody must be taken out of the house, you can hand crank that lift down to help someone get out of the house. Very important. Be sure to ask lots of questions if you're going to have some of these things done for your house. Lighting is really important on the outside. Most of us have a light by our front door. Be sure that the bulb is actually working. If that light fixture is set a little high for you, we don't advise that you climb a ladder to change the light bulb, but you can get light bulb changing kits. And they aren't very expensive, but they help you reach up and grab that bulb and turn it and replace it. You will also want a well-lit path to the doorway. Recently, in the last few years, solar-powered lighting has become available very inexpensively. It's very easy to install. You just put a stake in the ground. You have to be sure that the solar panel is in the sun an adequate number of hours per day. You also have to remember, again, in North Dakota, very likely those little solar-powered pathway lights, if they're the low kind that are just right along the walk, will be under snow in the winter. So you might want to consider an alternative. You also want to make sure that your address numbers are visible. They should have a strong contrast against the wall or whatever they're sitting on. They should light up either by reflection or with a light aimed at them, or sometimes you can buy solar-powered address numbers. These are very inexpensive, under $100 for a nice set of numbers. The numbers are adjustable, so you can pick out your own numbers as you get the kit set up. Again, though, you have to be sure that your solar collector is in the sun. If you look at this house, here is an eave hanging over the door. If you have a solar powered number here, it very likely won't collect a lot of sun. This is something I think about. My front door faces the north. So any solar units I'm going to have will have to be out about 15 feet from my house. So just a few things to think about as you consider your options. Smart home technology. We're seeing more and more of this in our houses. More and more people are using either an Alexa or a Google Assistant, or there's a phone app. Doreen, do we have a poll for smart home technology? Yeah, okay. So the poll says, which smart home features do you currently use? You can click on your answer and submit your answer to the poll, and we'll see how people are using smart home technology in our area in North Dakota now. I think people are beginning to add more and more of these options to their homes now. Thank you, Doreen. We'll take a look at the results now, or do we wait a little bit? Here's our results. Other. So other might mean garage door. Garage door remotes are not new technology, but they're wonderful technology. TV remotes are also smart home technology. We all probably have those. There are other things coming along. I think a lot of people are beginning to put their thermostats on smart home technology, and things like video doorbells are becoming more and more popular. So thank you, Doreen. Okay. Okay, do I have control here? Okay, there we go. Here's some possible ways you can use smart home technology. One of the easy things for indoors is to put your lights on an app on your phone. So you enter a room, you check the app, your light can come on. You need the special kind of light bulbs and attachments for that. There's all kinds of things you can do with new technology in your home to make life a lot easier, including locking and unlocking doors. That's one I'm going to be looking into pretty soon. There's actually some old technology for indoor lighting or outdoor lighting. One is the clapper. If you remember, years and years ago, there was advertisements on television. You could walk into a room and clap your hands and your light would come on. Clappers are still available, something that might work if, especially if your hands don't turn those little knobs very easily on a light. You can put your light on a timer, which not only will help you light up your house for yourself when you're in it, but also turn on the light when you're gone. So nobody will think your house is empty. Motion activated lights are great, both indoors and outdoors. If you go into a room, a light can turn on if it sees activity. You can also choose light bulbs that are more efficient, energy efficient, and help save some money and the effort of changing a bulb all the time, if you look into those. And if you see that's all green star, that's all easy stuff to fix and change. Okay, there's a couple of things we want to think about as a person enters the home. One of those is the doorway. The average door jamb width is 32 inches. But when your door is open, sometimes the door itself will narrow that gap a little bit. You can get a free swinging hinge for a door. It's called a swing clear hinge that opens that door away from the door space, leaving you the full 32-inch access through the doorway. Swing clear hinges won't work on every door depending on how the house is constructed. But if you decide you want to install swing clear hinges, I had a little trouble finding these on a general search. If I were you, I would take a picture of it with me when you go to a store or look online, because the names might be a little different here and there. So, but be aware that this is a very small change, an inexpensive change that makes access through a doorway much easier. At the entryway, you want some way to see who's on the other side of the door. If you don't have glass on your door or side lights on your doorway, you might want to install a peephole or a video doorbell, another smart home option becoming quite popular. Handles and door locks. Door locks are becoming popular with smart home technology. There are door locks that are just push button. When my mother's hands became crippled with arthritis and she couldn't turn a key, we put in a door system that had a lever and a push button lock, and it made a world of difference for her. Easily access her own home that way. Lever style doorknobs are wonderful. I recently put one on an inside door. And after I finished putting it in, it was like, why didn't I do that 10 years ago? It was so wonderful. So I gave it its own picture. Do be sure that the handle is nice and smooth and easily operated. I have some others in my house that are not smooth, but these can be a wonderful adjustment in your home for access through doorways. Once you're inside the house, there's a lot of things you can do that are very simple, very inexpensive. Might just mean rearranging the furniture a little bit. Right as soon as you get inside the doorway, you should be able to hang up your coat. And if there's no closet right there, a few hooks on the wall will be helpful. A place to sit down, to take off snowy boots, place to organize your keys, your outdoor shoes. Ways to get things out of the way. Instead of having just a clutter of shoes by the doorway, have ways to put them out of the way under the bench or in the cupboard. Again, in North Dakota, we come in with snow on our boots. It's going to melt. If that melting is going to make a puddle on the floor where somebody could slip, we want to contain that melt. Use some sort of a mat or maybe a place to put your shoes where the snow will melt out of the way. I've been thinking that old car floor mats would make a good place to put snowy boots while the snow is melting, just to make your entryway more comfortable. The kitchen. Everybody goes into the kitchen, no matter what their role or place is in the family. Lots of things to do in the kitchen to make it more comfortable and safer. You may find that you would like to sit down to prepare food. And typical counter heights usually don't allow for that. You might choose to sit at the table to prepare food. Just all you need is to have some sort of a surface that you can work on. You can possibly put in a lower section in your kitchen counters, as we see in this picture. Remodeling your whole kitchen is extremely expensive, but making a small change like that would not be as expensive and would be much more functional for some people. You can also add a pull-out counter extension, again, a place where you can sit down and do kitchen preparation. Kitchen is a place where there's a lot of things you can possibly do. Adjustable lighting or workspace lighting, like putting a light underneath your cabinet so you light the area where you're going to be doing some work. These can be added as plug-in lights that stick up under the cabinets. There's also battery-operated lights. I've had both. My battery-operated lights use batteries pretty fast, which doesn't please me very much. But on the other hand, when the power is off, those lights will come on, and I will have some light to get through the kitchen space, which is access to everything else in the home, in my house. In your lower level cabinets, you might want to put in some pull-out shelves so you can find the things that are all the way at the back. Open shelving will help you find things. One of the things that you might want to think about is a high contrast in color between the floor and the countertops. Here there's a dark countertop and a light floor. This gives your eye a visual clue as to where the surface is where you're going to put down a glass or a pot. It goes on this surface. Your eye will not confuse it with the floor and let you drop something inadvertently. Kitchen hardware handles, sometimes they're cute, but not particularly functional. This type of drawer pull or door pull is very functional. It gives you a chance to put a good grip in it. If you're going to be replacing your hardware, be sure when you go to the store to put your hand in. They should have a model set up so you can put your hand in there and make sure that fits your hand and works very well for you. Hardware isn't cheap. We just replaced all the hardware in our kitchen a few years ago, and I think we paid about $275 for all the new pieces of hardware. Worth it, though. We have very functional hardware now. Kitchen faucets are wonderful. Today, you can get a faucet that turns on with a touch. You can also get some that turn on with voice control. The faucet handles can be are very easily moved with very small motion. You can just push on it. You don't have to actually grip the faucet handle. Lots of innovations to look at when you go to a big hardware store. Appliances can also be adapted very helpfully. A lot of places have the microwave above the stove. If you are raising a heavy container up to head height, or maybe even a little bit above your shoulders, that might be somewhat dangerous, especially when you remove it and it's hot. It's a good idea to put the microwave on the countertop at a good working height for you. Dishwasher, if it's 1 or 2 people in your household, you probably don't need a full-size dishwasher all the time. You can get a 2-drawer dishwasher, allows you to do dishes, a smaller load of dishes, and keep up with the dishes that way. Stoves. Stoves are notoriously dangerous in a house. Be sure when you're working with either a gas stove or an electric stove that you're not wearing flappy clothing like a bathrobe where the sleeve is full and might drag into grease or boiling water. A gas stove should have the knobs in the front. Typically, electric stoves have the knobs in the back. I think it would take a little effort to find an electric stove that has knobs in the front. I think they exist. You'll have to probably make a little effort to find them, so you don't have to reach across that hot stove to turn off a knob. Ovens also, like the dishwasher, you may not need a big oven all the time anymore. Get a smaller oven with a larger oven attached. You not only have a smaller space to work with, it will save you energy, and it will save you bending over to take things out of the oven. And refrigerators likewise have smaller spaces, more easily used for specific things that you want. And drawers, a high drawer for a freezer is sometimes easier than having to reach up over your head for a freezer. Bathrooms, everybody uses the bathroom. And it's also a place where you have to be very careful to be safe because of water on the floor. And also, there are a lot of adjustments that can be made to make it more convenient. If you look at the shower stall on the upper right side, you'll see it's a zero entrance, a zero level. You just step right in. Inside the shower stall are safety strips for security for those who are standing. There's a bench for those who might have to be seated or want to be seated. You can also, if there's no bench in your shower stall, you can put a small chair in there, a plastic chair that will allow you to sit. And you can shower with a handheld shower that allows people to sit or stand as suits them. Grab bars are really important inside the shower. So if you do slip or lose your equilibrium, you have a place to grab onto. In this shower, I would also put a grab bar over on this wall too. Lots of adjustments there. Not terribly expensive, but probably will require you to talk to a plumber about changing your shower head if you need to. If you have a bathtub, a chair, this is the kind of chair you can get to put in the bathtub. And if you have this little extension on it, you can sit down outside the tub and move over safely into the bathtub without having to stand on one leg while you step over the edge of the bathtub. Toilet seats come in different heights, different comfort levels for different sized people. If you need a taller toilet, there's 2 things you can do. One is to get a toilet seat that attaches at the top, and many of those have handles on them, so you can steady yourself to stand up. Or you can put in a toilet base riser. This would require a plumber again, who would take the toilet off, put this riser on it, and then reattach the toilet. It raises the toilet 3 or 4 inches. Grab bars are so important in the bathroom, and there's all kinds of different ones. Do not rely on a towel bar to hold yourself up if you fall against it. But if you have a grab bar that's properly installed, you can put towels on it. It doesn't every grab bar can be functional. It doesn't have to just be a bar sitting there. So here's a toilet paper dispenser that is also a grab bar. You need to be sure that that's what it's intended to be and installed properly. Soap dispenser can be a grab bar. It's often considered best to put the grab bar in at a horizontal level. It may be that in particular places vertical works better. Do not choose a suction cup grab bar. They will work maybe for a month, depending on how much use you give it. After a month, not only will it not hold you up, it will release itself from the wall, and I can guarantee you it will fall off in the middle of the night, make a big banging noise, wake up the dog, there'll be a lot of barking, and you'll regret ever having done it. So look for a true grab bar that is properly installed, and they will give you a lot of support in the bathroom. Lots of things you can do all around the house. Many of these are very simple or inexpensive. Let's look at the living room. Again, contrast between the floor color and the furniture color helps people position themselves properly in relation to the furniture. This room is a little too much light. Maybe something could be done that would add a little darkness. If you have white carpet and white sofa, maybe you just throw a dark towel over some of those seat cushions that will give somebody a little bit better visual clue about how to sit. You want plenty of space between the sofa or chair and the coffee tables so people can maneuver in this area comfortably. If you have electrical cords running across the floor, tape is possible. It sometimes curls up and sometimes isn't the best thing, but you can buy these little mats that lay right on top, very heavy mats that lie right on top of these electrical cords to make them safer. Your rug, if you have a rug that's not a carpet, not tacked down, you want to make sure you have a good carpet mat underneath it. Those are very inexpensive to buy. You can get them anywhere. I found them at Target. They're all over the place. You also may want to tape down the corners of the carpet so that that's an area that will tend to curl up. So a little carpet tape there will help keep those flat. Something we think about with babies is blind cords or curtain cords. We know that this can be dangerous for babies. It can be dangerous for everybody else too. If those cords are lying down long and hitting the floor, you can catch them around your foot and trip. Your dog can get caught in them. So you want to be sure that you keep the cords that operate your drapes or your blinds kept up off the floor. You can get a little gadget that you attach to the wall or to the window frame, and you can wrap those cords around that to keep it safe. So much can be done with lighting. Rocker style switches are recommended over the flip switches, the toggle switches that we're probably more used to, easily changed. You can get light switches where the base glows in the dark, which will give you a little more help in finding that switch. Natural light is the best thing during the day. Open your drapes and let the light in. Works well with your eyes. I think a lot of people see better with natural light than with electrical light. You can use motion sensor lighting to have a light turn on when you enter a room. Night lights are important in hallways and bathrooms, places where people go regularly at night. And I would also recommend, I like to think about summer nights. A big storm's coming, maybe the power goes off. You may want to have a few lights around the house that will turn on with batteries or will not be wired into the house. So you will have some lighting for the stairs, especially if it's stormy and you're wanting to go down to the basement. You want some sort of lighting on the stairway that will work when the power is off. Again, lots of options to choose from there. Dining area. Some people aren't using their formal dining rooms anymore. You might, if you have a 2-story house and your bedroom's upstairs, you might want to think about moving your bedroom into the dining area or using it for a craft space or a comfortable reading area. But if you still do use the dining area, one of the things you want to think about is that you've plenty of space to get around the table and the chairs. And you will have at least one chair at the table that has 2 arms on it, again, for helping people rise to their feet. I had one of those chairs at my table and I thought it was kind of crummy looking and old and shabby. And I took it out and put in a chair with no arms. And my husband wanted it back because he was using those arms. I wasn't even aware of it. He was using those arms to stand up. So chair is back and shabby's fine as long as it works. That's all I care about is that it works well. If you eat at a counter, be sure that the stools you use at the counter are very stable. 4 legs are better than some of the other arrangements of stools. Be sure, again, you have some arms to stabilize the chairs as you stand up and sit down. Hallways and stairways. Again, this is an area where you want very good lighting. You see in this hallway, there's ceiling lighting, there's lighting along the stairs. You see the carpet has tape at the corner. It probably has a mat underneath so it won't slide. You want to have plenty of space in the hallway to accommodate a walker or wheelchair. Very important to be sure that whatever you put in the hallway leaves you enough space for access. The stairs, if you have stairs that aren't carpeted, you may want to put in a runner or put treads on the stairs to be sure there's good footing as you go up and down the stairs. This is a good place to put motion sensor night lights along the stairs. You might also, there are some houses that have stairs that are open. There's no cover on the riser here. You want to be sure that those are covered so no one slips on those. 2 railings are better than 1. Most houses probably just have 1 railing on the stairwell. A railing on both sides is really helpful. You never know when you're going to need it on the other side of the room, on the other side of the stairwell. If you cannot keep your living area on 1 floor and you have to use a 2nd story, you may want to use a stair lift. A little automatic chair like this or electrical chair like this can be installed. Again, this is a professional job. These are not inexpensive, but it does allow for access on both floors. There's also, I just was reading in the AARP magazine that recently came out, there are little tiny elevators that could be installed in some houses too. So a few options there. Don't give up on the 2nd floor. You may want to install a lift of some sort. Laundry room. Lots of things can be done in the laundry room. I have recently bought some little carts with wheels on them. Again, it's one of those things that, why didn't I do this 100 years ago? Because the wheels make it so easy to move a load of wet laundry around. A table for sorting or to store things. Keeping everything put out of the way off the floor. Typically, I dump dirty clothes on the floor, but I'm going to start trying to be more careful about using baskets, especially baskets on wheels. If you have your washer and dryer, think about how you access them. If you have a front loader, you may want to have it raised up on these risers here, so that you are working at a good working level. You don't have to bend over to pull heavy wet laundry out of the washer. You may find that a top loader works better. I just bought a top loader myself, and as I went through the showroom, I put my arm in every tub all the way down to the bottom to make sure I could reach it very easily. Go ahead and make these people work for their money when you buy appliances, and make sure that the appliance you buy will work for you. So as you think about what we've been talking about today, think about a couple of quick fixes that you might want to take on in the next few months. Something that's inexpensive and easy to access, something you can install yourself or maybe with the help of a friend or a neighbor. I hope that you'll seek out this HomeFit guide. It is a wonderful resource. You may not have to do much today. You may want to think about the future. You may have only a few things you want to do. The HomeFit guide is available at AARP HomeFit, and you can read the guide online. You can download it, or you can ask AARP to mail you a copy of the paper pamphlet. It's about 33 pages, I think. There's lots of other resources available as well. We have this available as a handout. If you make a request, we can get this to you. AARP has lots of resources at their website. AARP Foundation also has a program called Here to Stay, Home Upkeep for All. National and local resources include occupational therapists who can address specific issues of accessibility. And North Dakota has an occupational therapy association, ndota.com. They can get somebody to help you figure out your specific needs. I found the OTs were wonderful when I was trying to help my mother cope with her arthritic hands. They had so many good ideas. It was just a great help. The North Dakota Association of Builders also maintains a list of certified aging in place specialists who can look at ways that you can adapt your home. There isn't one of these people in every community, but there are several in the state, and you can call or email the North Dakota Association of Builders to get more information about that. So I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank the staff at the AARP office, including Janelle Moose, Marnie Peel, Doreen Reedman. Wendy Hogue wasn't with us today, but she's with us in spirit, I'm sure, and she's always so helpful. And special thanks to Ellen Schaefer, who was our host today. Ellen has a few more comments to make, and I'll stay on if there are any of you who would like to ask some questions after we stop recording. I will be here to help answer those questions. So thank you, and Ellen, it's all yours.
Thank you, Barb. That's a wealth of information that you shared with us today, and I can already think of a couple things that I need to do in my home. So this program and most other programs are recorded so that they can be viewed at a later time at your convenience. You'll find them on AARP North Dakota, on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/AARP North Dakota, and the Twitter. Thank you. All upcoming and recorded events can also be found at aarp.org/ND, small letters again, events. Thank you for joining us for the HomeFit class, Your Home for Life. Thank you again, Barb, and I'll turn it back to Barb for any final comments that she might have. Barb?
Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm very inspired by this program. As I said, I'm making some of these changes in my own home now. And if you have some questions and would like to stay on for a minute and ask questions, I'll stay here for a few more minutes.